Theory 1. 11 is not the first test subject. She is the first survivor. You know 11 as Subject 11, the 11th child, but nobody ever asks what happened to the other 10. Brenner didn't number his subjects randomly. They were numbered in order. 11 is the 11th child brought into Hawkins' lab. 10 children came before her. There are no graduates, no releases, no subjects who completed the program and went home. Numbers 2 through 10 simply don't exist anymore. The gap between 1 and 11 is the most telling detail in the entire series. 1 was a natural anomaly Brenner discovered. Numbers 2 through 10 were his attempts to replicate that anomaly artificially. They didn't fail the experiments. The experiments failed them. Brenner erased them. 11 wasn't the next test subject in a line of research. She was the first one who survived long enough to be useful. She didn't escape that fate. She just lasted long enough to become something Brenner needed alive. Theory 2. The Upside Down is not a parallel world. It's a photograph. Everyone assumes the Upside Down exists alongside our world, a mirror dimension running parallel to ours. That assumption is wrong. The Upside Down mirrors Hawkins exactly. Same streets, same buildings, same layout, down to individual houses on individual roads. But nothing has changed since 1983. There is a calendar visible in the Upside Down during Season 4. It shows November 1983, the exact month Will Byers disappeared, the exact month the gate first opened. Hawkins built new structures after 1983. The Upside Down version did not. No seasons change there. No buildings age differently. No new construction appears. The Upside Down is not a parallel dimension that happens to look like Hawkins. It is Hawkins. Specifically, it is a copy of Hawkins captured at the precise moment dimensional contact was first made, like a photograph taken at the worst possible second and then animated into something living and hostile. Every time the characters enter the Upside Down, they are not visiting another world. They are walking through their own town, frozen on the night everything broke. That's not a parallel dimension, that's a scar. Theory 3. The Mind Flayer was never hunting Hawkins. 4 seasons, hundreds of potential victims, easier targets everywhere. The Mind Flayer ignored almost all of them. The Mind Flayer is a creature of intelligence. It does not act randomly. Every move it made across 4 seasons followed a single pattern most viewers missed completely. It possessed Will to place a spy inside 11's closest circle. It possessed Billy to create a weapon capable of reaching her physically. It built an army of flayed humans that moved toward her location specifically, every single time. The first breach happened because 11 made psychic contact with the Mind Flayer in the deprivation tank. She found it. It found her back. It never lost interest after that. Every action in Hawkins was infrastructure, building a presence strong enough to reach the one target it actually wanted. Hawkins was never the target. 11 was. The town was just in the way. Theory 4. Hopper's death was never an accident. The machine explodes. Hopper disappears. Everyone grieves. The season ends. Then Season 4 opens with an American prisoner in a Russian labor camp. Hopper's survival is not a dramatic coincidence. The timing between his disappearance and his appearance in Russian custody is too clean. The Russians operated in Hawkins for months before Season 3. They had intelligence on the lab, on the gate, on the people involved in containing it, on Hopper specifically. The Russian facility already had a Demogorgon in captivity. Their operation was already advanced. They needed someone who understood what they were building toward, someone with direct experience inside the Upside Down. Hopper had been inside it. He had survived contact with its creatures. He understood it in ways no Russian scientist could replicate from intelligence reports alone. He was worth more alive than dead. His death was not an accident the Russians exploited. It was an extraction they engineered. And the question the show never fully answers is how long they had been planning it. Theory 5. Will never actually came home. You watched Will get rescued. You watched the Mind Flayer get driven out. You assumed the connection was severed. Watch his hands in Season 4. Every time something connected to the Upside Down gets worse, Will reaches back and touches the nape of his neck. Not consciously, not deliberately. His hand moves there automatically before he has registered the threat. That is exactly where the Mind Flayer's presence was felt during his possession. The back of the neck, the base of the skull. He knows things in Season 4 he should not know. He senses Vecna before anyone identifies it. He understands the Upside Down's movements in ways that go beyond direct observation. The exorcism in Season 2 removed the Mind Flayer's control. It did not remove the connection. Nobody caught this. Will did not escape the Upside Down. He carried a piece of it home inside him, and it never fully went quiet. You have just watched 5 theories about what the Upside Down is doing. The next 5 are different. They are about the people inside it, and what the show has been hiding about all of them. Starting with the character everyone thinks is the villain. Theory 6. Vecna is not the villain. He is the cure. Every victim Vecna chose in Season 4 shares the same profile. Look closely. Chrissy carried years of abuse she never disclosed. Fred carried guilt over a fatal accident he never confessed. Patrick carried shame he had buried completely. Max carried survivor's guilt over Billy that she could not process. Every single one. Unresolved trauma, suppressed guilt, psychological wounds left completely untreated. Vecna did not choose the most powerful targets. He did not choose the most dangerous. He chose the most psychologically compromised. That is not random predation. That is a selection criteria. The Upside Down reacts to human psychological energy. Unresolved trauma creates interference in its stability. Vecna removes the source of that interference. That's not villainy, that's maintenance. Vecna is not killing people because he is evil. He is the Upside Down's immune system, and every victim he chose was a threat it needed removed. Theory 7. You have never seen the Upside Down, you have seen the future. Everyone calls it a parallel dimension, a mirror world existing alongside ours. That explanation has always had one problem nobody addresses. Parallel dimensions diverge. They develop independently. They do not match our world building for building and street for street across decades. The Upside Down matches Hawkins with perfect accuracy because it is Hawkins, just later. The atmosphere is toxic. Everything is dying. No functional ecosystems exist. The sky is permanently dark. The landscape deteriorates at every point. That is not what a parallel dimension looks like. That is what a dying planet looks like. There are no humans anywhere in the Upside Down. Not alternate versions. Not survivors. Nobody. A parallel Earth would have its own population. A future Earth that experienced catastrophic collapse would be exactly this empty, which means the Mind Flayer is not an invader from elsewhere. It is what fills the vacuum after humanity is gone. Theory 8. Hawkins' lab was never a research facility. The framing is always the same. Scientists studying supernatural phenomena. Experiments designed to understand psychic ability. That framing was a cover story. Every child in the program was being pushed toward a specific offensive application. Remote viewing, psychic assault, dimensional breach. Those are not research outcomes. Those are weapons specifications. The funding came from defense budgets. The oversight came from intelligence agencies. The protocols were designed by people whose job was building weapons, not advancing science. The sensory deprivation tank was not built for the children's development. It was built to maximize range and penetration, to push abilities as far as possible, as fast as possible, regardless of what it did to them. Hawkins' lab was not a research facility that got out of control. It was a weapons program. It worked exactly as intended, until the weapons became more powerful than the people trying to control them. Theory 9. Max's body came back. The question is whether she did. Max survived Season 4. Technically, her bones are broken. Her eyes are destroyed. She is clinically brain dead for a period that should be unrecoverable. 11 pulls her back. Her heart restarts. She breathes. But when 11 searches for Max inside her own mind, the space is empty. She searches. She cannot find her. Vecna's curse does not just kill, it consumes. Every fully taken victim showed signs of consciousness being absorbed into the hive mind before their body gave out. Max's body came back because 11 forced it back, but Vecna had already taken enough of her consciousness that what returned is not entirely Max. Something is missing. The emptiness 11 finds is not unconsciousness, it is absence. Max's body escaped. The theory asks what is still inside the Upside Down wearing her face, and whether the Max who eventually wakes up will be the same person who went under. Theory 10. The Russians were there first. The Russian facility in Season 3 is enormous. Underground complex, industrial equipment, specialized containment units, a living demogorgon in captivity. None of that gets built in 2 years. Hawkins' lab first breached the dimensional barrier in 1983. Season 3 is set in 1985. The Russian facility is too large and too advanced to have been constructed in response to intelligence gathered after 1983. The Russians had their own gate technology, functionally different from Hawkins' lab's approach. They were not copying American methods. They were developing parallel technology from a parallel starting point. The Cold War was not just nuclear. Both sides were investigating the same phenomena independently. The Russians did not learn about the Upside Down from Hawkins. They already knew. What they learned from Hawkins was that the Americans were further along than expected. Hawkins did not open the door first. They just opened it loudest. And the Russians had been listening at the other side for longer than anyone in Indiana realized. 10 theories. Every one of them has been about systems. The Upside Down, the lab, the Russians. The next 5 go somewhere different. They are about the individuals the show built around trust, and what happens when you look at them without it.